Hi, I'm Charles with AniCap. Previously, Mofan was somehow able to awaken two rare talents, but kept it a secret until he had to use them in a difficult duel. He is eventually forced to move to another city where he would shockingly awaken another two talents. During a practical out of the safe zone, Mofan discovers that him and his classmates are being cursed by a hidden monster. The story continues as we see that Mofan has returned to find that several of his classmates are under the spell. Manyan tells him to hurry up and kill the monster responsible so that everyone can return to normal. Mofan understands the importance and recommends that Manyan go to the pond instead, while he stays to deal with their friends. Manyan wasn't expecting to hear that, but Ningsu arrives to take Mofan anyway, and Manyan expresses his appreciation. They arrive at the pond, but Mofan is shocked to see that Ningsu is under the spell. He wonders why she isn't fighting anyone, and realizes that her deepest desire must actually be to settle the problem as soon as possible. A powerful spider monster reveals itself, and is unaffected by the duo's attacks. The fight would go on for a while before Mofan realizes what the spider's intentions are. It hunts by first bewitching her prey with her spiderlings, making them kill each other. That way, she can easily drag them back to her territory and feast. Ningsu finally manages to keep the beast from moving, and Mofan hits it with his lightning. However, the spider is still alive, and Ningsu is seemingly fed up when she uses an attack we have yet to see that instantly destroys the beast. Mofan recognizes the use of such powerful magic equipment and knows that its use requires a person to pay a tremendous price. After she collapses, Mofan can sense that the bow feels different from most magic tools, but can't figure out why. His intuition is telling him though that the changes Ningsu has been through the past couple years must have something to do with the weapon. They return to the church to see that everyone is back to normal. Mofan finds Moot crying as she has been traumatized by the situation and his attempts at comforting her fail. He then returns the bracelet she gave him earlier. Mofan explains that the fight against the spider demon was almost lost, but he still couldn't bring himself to destroy her lucky charm. Just then, Ming's dead body is found, and Liao confesses to doing it but explains that he couldn't control himself. He is hysterical, but the others can't blame him since they were all under the beast's spell. The students realize now that the practical has gotten out of hand and would like to go back. Ningsu explains that they are not done with the surveys but have enough data to work with. So after burying their classmate, they head back home. The students feel awful after what they've been through and are constantly in fear of being attacked. Ting Ting explains that the safe zone is still far away, but once they get past the forest, they should be able to see patrols from the military. Moments later, they are relieved to see that they have been saved when they run into a group of soldiers. Manyan points out that there is something strange about their uniforms, and Song begins to greet their saviors. However, he is interrupted when their leader Nian commands his subordinates to eliminate the unnecessary students. Zhang He is Nian's little brother and he begs them to stop. However, Nian explains that they must all be silenced since he can't risk anyone finding out what he is up to. It is an absolute massacre as the students begin getting taken out one by one. Liao attempts to use his status to stop them but just ends up being killed. Zhang He is confused since the only reason he gave them their location was so that his brother could help him defeat Mofan. Nian threatens to kill him if he doesn't come to his side, so Zhang He does. However, Mofan stops him and explains that if Nian doesn't leave, then he will kill Zhang He. Nian is willing to make that sacrifice, but says that he will let everyone live as long as Mofan stays with them. Mofan is intrigued by the request, and Nian is impressed that he shows no fear. He explains that he is trying to change humanity so they will no longer have to live in fear of the demons, achieving a tremendous power to stand against the Black Curia. He then reveals that he would like Mofan to undergo an experiment. It is one that will unveil a brand new magical element. He reveals that they have already lost numerous mages to the experiments, but after years of research they found that Mofan is the key to the new element's success. The experiment mutates the candidate through parasitic inhibition. The other test subjects lost their minds because they couldn't withstand the power. They need someone with the ability to withstand the potency of multiple elements, and the fact that Mofan is someone with innate dual elements means that he is perfect for it. They go to capture Mofan, but he reveals that he only put up with his nonsensical speech so Ningsu could have time to cast her spell. Her realm magic and arrow attack proved to be too powerful for them to avoid. However, we see that Ningsu has drained her energy once again. Mofan asks the other students to take her and run since they won't have much time before the group free themselves. They go separate ways as Mofan knows that they will not chase his friends if he is not with them. Mofan's plan is to flee into Jinlin City in the hopes that the powerful beast there will take care of Nian and his group. The group arrive to find that their movements are handicapped because of the swampy terrain. Mofan uses the opportunity to get away but can see from a distance how formidable the group can be. He knows that it will take several more monsters to take them out and just now realizes that Nian wasn't with them. He finds the lizard monster's nest with a giant winged beast sitting atop it. The group arrive and explain that the reptiles might as well be insects to them. Mofan decides to see just how true that is and agitates the nest. The woman claims that their objective is a noble one, and she vows to take Mofan alive for the experiment. The beasts have other ideas as they surround Mofan, but he amazes the group with his powerful lightning magic. The woman can see that it's even higher than spirit level and marvels at his exceptional magic capacity. In that moment, he is caught off guard but is saved by the woman, who again promises to keep him alive. After a while, she asks that they retreat together as he clearly depleted too much energy. She assures him that he is an ideal candidate for the experiment and has an extremely high probability of success. However, he still refuses to trust them, pointing out how they had ruthlessly killed a couple other students. She continues to plead with him, explaining that their experiments are far more humane than the cursed spells of the Black Curia. She explains that they have finally managed to create a blood relic that can transform a mage's physique. The mutation will enable a mage to gain extraordinary powers. The only reason their volunteers failed is because the blood relic drains the energy of at least 2 star clouds, and the souls of most mages can't withstand that. She again claims that Mofan is the ideal candidate, but he refuses to trust them still. The giant lizards surround him and he is running out of options. He thinks about how close his fire element star is to breaking through to the next level, and asks that Wolfie defend him. With nowhere to run, he begins to attempt leveling up right there. Wolfie does well to hold the lizards back, but is obviously becoming fatigued. Mofan realizes that the fire he has started needs to burn stronger if he wants to make a breakthrough. He decides to concentrate all his energy into the fire star cloud with the intention of just blowing the entire thing up. The group can't believe how crazy Mofan is to try leveling up under those conditions, and decide that they need to rescue him. The woman's attack doesn't accomplish much, but it doesn't matter anyway. Mofan is finally ready. He thanks his archwolf on a job well done and uses an astral blaze attack to clear the entire area. They manage to escape to a safer spot, and Mofan sends Wolfie back to get some much needed rest. However, the group catch up to him and ask that he stop resisting. They know that he has used up too much energy and ask that he just come peacefully. However, he realizes that the sun is out now and there are shadows everywhere. After using his shadow talent to get away, the group is ambushed by the lizards. Mofan watches from above and can only imagine how surprised they would be if they found out about his 4th talent. He then points out how leveling up while in the midst of battle is far more effective compared to being in peace, revealing that if he wasn't driven into a corner just then, it normally would have taken him another year to get his fire star cloud to level 3. He is absolutely exhausted, but can finally take a moment to relax, and thinks about how his friends should be entering the safe zone right about now. However, he is shocked by the horrifying sight of his friends captured in a cage. Nian demands that Mofan surrender since he has sealed their abilities and will drop them if he doesn't. Manyan's efforts to warn Mofan go unheard, and Nian explains that one day mankind will appreciate him for his efforts. Just then, Kong arrives demanding that he free the students, and mocking Nian's experiments. He explains that Mofan is an exceptional talent all on his own, and has a promising future without the need of Nian's help. Kong calls him a coward for threatening students, and Nian understands now that the entire situation is a mess. He explains that there are very few in the military that can put up a fight against him, and says that Kong is not one of them. His subordinate cannot believe his cruelty when told to feed the students to the Aerodactyl, but obeys his leader anyway. Mofan tries his best to beat them there, as we see that Niang antagonizes Kong by mentioning the death of a woman in his past. He points out that Kong couldn't save Bo City and will fail again to save these innocent students. Kong explains that no matter how many times he fails, he will never stop trying. Kong gets away from Nian's attacks and reveals that wind is only his side element. His real strength lies in fire. Mofan stares in amazement when he witnesses Kong's constellation circles that are evidence of expert tier magic. Comets rain from the sky, and Kong tasks Mofan with rescuing the students. His friends are terrified as they approach the beast, and Mofan arrives just as it appears to be waking up. Nian's subordinates arrive to warn Mofan that the Aerodactyl is too powerful. The woman realizes that she had been wrong, and it is obvious now that Nian has lost his sanity. He is no longer acting for the sake of the new element, but to satisfy his thirst for murder. Mofan explains that it's too late now, and if they get in his way again, he will kill them all. She again warns that trying to fight the beast is suicide, but he says he doesn't need her to tell him that. He is completely exhausted and unsure of how he will even get past the lizards, but explains that he has no choice. Unlike them, he has a heart, and it won't let him abandon his friends. She says that if he really wants to save them, then he will have to use the blood relic, but he doesn't even want to look at the thing. She explains that the Magic Association has banned its use, and the government forbids any further research. Perhaps it is unethical, but what can't be denied is that it brings forth tremendous power. It is feared and therefore deemed evil, but she points out that good or evil is determined by the user. She knows that she will have to pay for her wrongdoings, but says that his friends are innocent and should not have to die. He must now choose between charging in there and dying worthlessly, or crushing the blood relic to save them. Mofan knows that the situation is hopeless, but has decided to do whatever it takes to make sure neither Nian or the Aerodactyl harm them. He takes a relic from her, and she thinks about how ridiculously powerful his transformation will be since he has 3 talents. Thank you for watching part 16, 11,000 likes and I'll know you want part 17.